Welcome to my productive home office tour as a work from home dad. I'm gonna go through my whole setup here and stick around to the end because I will share the 3 upgrades that I recommend to every work from home dad who is trying to balance deep work and dad life. For context, I am a dad of 2 toddlers and I've been working from home since 2020. Currently work as a social media content specialist at a cybersecurity company, hence all of the audio and lighting and video equipment. And I create content for both my full-time job and this work from home dad's YouTube channel. And this home office setup helps me stay productive so that I am getting my work done on average in less than 6 hours a day. All right, for starters, let's take a look at this desk. This is an UPLIFT brand standing desk. What I really enjoy are these buttons where I can push it and it goes to a preset height. So number 2 is kind of my standing height. And then I can stand and work right here. I can't really sit for more than 45 minutes without having to stand up at some point. So I love this desk. I've even got another UPLIFT desk right here if I ever want just a spot to work where I'm not in front of a computer. Granted, I am in front of that big TV, but that's usually off. Next up is this HAG brand Capisco chair. And this thing was a little bit of a splurge. I did use a home office stipend to get it, but it's super comfortable. I can sit like this, which is pretty fun. I can even sit like this, which kind of takes some of the pressure off of the back. And usually in this mode, I'll keep the back where it's nice and stiff. So if I lean forward, it doesn't go anywhere. But when I'm sitting like this, I'll adjust it so that way I can lean back if I would like. Back to the desk, you'll notice I try to keep a pretty minimal profile where there's just plenty of desk space. And the way that I do that is everything is just basically mounted to the desk. Even my monitor here has got like a big mounted stand. So that way it's not taking up a bunch of space with the stand right here in the middle. This microphone's on a stand. This big light is on a desk mount way back there behind that speaker. Kind of hard to see, but it makes for a much cleaner desk, which is so much easier for me to just stay focused and worked. Where literally some of the only stuff is like my to-do list for the day on the desk that I can just check off right there. As far as the actual computer, I just upgraded this to the M4 Mac Mini. I had the M1 Mac Mini, but it was slowing down when I was doing some screen recording and had Premiere Pro open, doing video editing at the same time. So this has been working out great. And my work computer is the M4 MacBook Pro. I was gonna just make this my main computer, but I work at a cybersecurity company, and so they are somewhat particular about what I can install on the work computer. And so I was running into the challenge where I'm like, well, I would like to use all of the monitor and the sound equipment and all this other stuff whenever I'm working on my work computer, but I also want to use it when I'm working on my home computer, and I don't want to have to plug stuff in and out. So I got something called a KVM switch, which is this right here. So my monitor, my soundboard, my stream deck, my cameras, microphones, mouse, keyboard, all of that is plugged into this KVM switch. And then I have one cable that goes to the M4 back here, my Mac Mini, and then I have one cable that goes to the MacBook Pro, and then I can just switch. Right now it's on my personal one. You see all my notes here. I just push a button, and then it is now switching over to my work computer right there. And so super nice, push of one button, I can switch back and forth between the two. Not to mention there is also an SD card reader, which is super convenient right on the front of there. For my mouse and keyboard, this is the MX Master 3, and this is the MX Keys. I love how both of them look, but I really love how functional the MX Master is. All of these I've programmed different buttons. So if I want to take a screenshot, this scrolly wheel is also a button. And so I can just take a screenshot of something and then it opens up into CleanShot X, which is my favorite app for editing screenshots. And definitely had to get a keyboard with the number pad. And so I really love the wireless look. Both of them will keep charged for like 2 or 3 months before I have to charge them again. And then this right here is a Stream Deck, which if you've never seen one, each one of these buttons can be programmed to do something. So if I want to pull up LinkedIn, I can just push this button and it will pull up LinkedIn in a new window right there. I'm also a social media manager, and so I can actually pull up all these common emojis. So I can just push the button and it shows up right there. But what I really like is in my video editing program, I've got like a really complicated quick key to add a certain effect. And then I just program, it's like Command Shift 4G arrow down and then hit hit enter twice. Whenever I push this button, it will do that. And then also when I put like my SD card in my KVM switch, if I push this button right here, it'll open up my SD card on the left side of the screen, which it's not doing because I'm currently recording to the SD card. And then it'll open up where I want to put that footage on the right side of the screen. So that way I don't have to like open the Finder, go find the SD card, click and drag it. It's like they're right next to each other like that. So the Stream Deck is a super powerful tool. A couple other things, I've got this Google Nest Home right here, and I've programmed it so I could say, hey Google, office lights off. And then I've got all these Philips Hue bulbs and these Wise outlets programmed into the Google Home. But I also like it for, hey Google, set a timer for 25 minutes. And I've got myself a Pomodoro clock right there. And a lot of times I'm in the middle of typing something and I'll just say, hey Google, what is 423 divided by 7? And then it will just give me whatever I am looking for. And speaking of lights, on my Stream Deck, I've got a few different settings for the different lights that I want. So if I just wanted to have some reading vibes, I can do that. And sometimes if my daughter comes in early in the morning when I'm working and I'm trying to finish something, I will let her play with the app where she can actually pick which vibe she would like to have in the room. Regarding speakers, I've got these PreSonus 3-inch speakers, which I've got no complaints about, really like how they sound. Most of the time, I am just listening to focus music with an app called Brain FM. Let's listen to that. Yeah, focus vibes. I've also got these headphones down here, these AKG K240s. Now, I don't often use these. I'll usually just use my speakers because I work while my kids are at school. But if they are home and we have a babysitter, or if my wife is watching them and it gets a little bit loud, I will put these on. And what's nice is they have this kind of open back, which keeps your ears from feeling too tired if you do have to wear headphones for multiple hours a day. These are generally just out of the way on this little hook right here and there if I need them. Off to the side here, I've got this IKEA desk, and this is really where I just keep a bunch of extra stuff that I may need occasionally, and I could put some of my tech equipment on the top. So as far as this content creation corner over here, so I've got the Sony ZV-E10 camera, which is like a $700 camera if you just buy the camera without the lens. And then I got the Sigma 16mm 1.4 lens right here, which helps give kind of like a blurry background. And so this is what I usually have for like my Zoom calls or quick videos that I want to make through work. And you'll see that I've got the Elgato prompter on here, which kind of doubles as a little second monitor. What's nice is if I'm ever on Zoom, I'll put Zoom on this teleprompter. And then as I'm looking at the people on Zoom, since my camera is right behind it, it's as if I'm looking at them directly in the face, as opposed to them being on this monitor where my camera's over there. And then if I want to look at them, I'm actually looking off to the side. This is kind of what it looks like when I'm on a Zoom call with that camera and this teleprompter. And I've also got that connected to the Google Home, so I can say, hey Google, studio off. And the light turns off, the camera turns off, because I've actually got a camera battery that plugs into an outlet, and the outlet is what's connected to the Google Home. And this light up here is overkill for most people, but it is an Amaran 60D. You can kind of see it back there. This big umbrella looking thing is a Neewer brand diffuser. It just makes all the light look really soft. Kind of up behind me is the same light, but it's on something called a Varipole. That's actually just using tension up on the ceiling, so I didn't have to drill anything in. And that light is shining light on the back of my head, which is called a hair light. So you can see there's a little bit of light on the top of my head that's separating me. You can see a little bit of light over my shoulder right here. Most people don't need a hair light. It took me years to decide, like, I'm gonna get a hair light, I'm gonna be a professional content creator, and I'm glad that I did. As far as microphones, my main microphone that I use on Zoom calls and if I'm a guest on a podcast is the Shure MV7. It has a USB connection, but I actually use the traditional XLR microphone connection, and that is plugged into the Rodecaster Pro 2. And then that's my first microphone. My second microphone is a Rode NTG2. This is if I'm making a video with this camera right here, but I don't want this to be in the shot because this kind of microphone needs to be real close to your mouth. But if I want the microphone out of the shot, I use this one, and it's my second microphone. And then this also controls the sound of like my audio from my computer, which is nice. And I've got some sound effects in there for fun on Zoom calls. A couple things that make this office kind of feel like home is I've got my kids' art up here. It's mostly my daughter. She's a little bit older and is making more art, but she loves it when she makes a piece of art and I say, hey, can I put that in my office? It makes the office feel a little bit more warm, a little bit more personal. And given that I have a YouTube channel called Work From Home Dads, it's pretty on brand to have kid art in the background. And over here is a poster called My Life in Weeks. And so the average lifespan is about 88 years. And so 88 years times 52 weeks is about 4,000 weeks. And so there are 4,000 little squares on this poster. And at the end of every week, I fill in one more square. And I have even gone in and notated the week that my daughter was born in red and the week that my son was born in blue. And then down here is the week my daughter turns 18. And down here is the week my son turns 18. So I've got this little window of time where they're gonna be home with me as my kids. And so I like having this on the wall as a reminder that my time is fleeting and I want to be spending it with the people that I love, doing the things that I love to do. And that's also why I've worked to build my schedule around working 6 or less hours a day. So that way I'm not working nights, so that way I'm not working weekends. And I actually put together a free playbook on exactly how I've set that up for myself. And if you want to check it out, it's completely free and it's in the top link down in the description. Moving on, we got a few other knickknacks here. This is my blue belt in jiu-jitsu. Most people get their blue belt in 2 years, but I got it in 7 years. I keep at it and it is a way to demonstrate resilience to my kids, particularly when you're not good at something, but you still love doing it. And this right here is my very first Canon T3i. I got this in 2015 when I was like, I want to start making videos, and had built up a YouTube channel from when I was a classroom teacher with tons of videos using this camera. Up above my bookshelf is this flag that my dad flew when he was deployed to Afghanistan. He is retired now, but I'm glad that he always came home from his deployments, and so wanted to keep that up there because I also think it looks pretty cool. A couple of these knickknacks that I had not mentioned yet, to the point that all time is quality time and that our time is fleeting. There's a coin that says Tempest Fugit. I got it from the Daily Stoic or the Daily Dad, I think, just as another reminder that our time is fleeting. And I've got this card that has a few different Bible verses that serves as a reminder to myself about what's important, where my identity lies, and that my identity is not in the approval of others or in doing a good job at work, but it is in Christ who I believe in. So I keep this on the desk as a reminder when I'm like, I gotta do a good job at work. Still want to do a good job at work, but I'm not defined by the job that I do at my work. You don't need all of this to be productive, but here are the 3 upgrades that I do recommend every work from home dad get for his home office. The first is the standing desk. This is by far the best investment that I have made in this office. I'm constantly alternating between sitting and standing. It helps me move, it helps with my focus. They're not inexpensive, but it is worth the investment. And between having a good desk and a good chair, I would actually prioritize the standing desk over the chair. The second thing, put your kids' artwork up in your office. They love seeing it. It serves as a great reminder for you of what's important, and it adds a little bit of personality on a Zoom call when everyone has the exact same background. You've got a little bit of kid art, and it helps with the overall vibes of the office. And the third thing is I would get a smart device that has a screen like my Google Nest Hub. Amazon makes a bunch of Alexa ones as well, but I love those for quick timers, quick math, quick time conversions, all activated by voice. Now, if you get those things to add to your setup, they're gonna be great, but they are not as significant and important as knowing how to manage your time well. And find yourself working nights and weekends and not spending as much time with your family as you'd like, then check out this video where I walk through the 11 time hacks for work from home dads who just can't catch up. We'll see you over there.